Hey, what's happening? And today I'm doing a quick video on using a clip map in LightWave. I was inspired to do this from watching this old tutorial that Ivan B did back in 2014. And he talks about that he used some clip maps to create some foreground objects and things like that. And then he created this kind of elaborate scene that is really impressive. I mean, I spent a lot of time watching this video and studying what he did, and I was just wanting to translate it into 2019 because it wasn't really clear how he did what he did. And I'm not sure that I would do something like this today. I would probably just use a compositing program, but if I was going to do something simple, I might just put in one clip map or something like that. I don't know that I would put in all these clip maps, and that seems like a lot of work. But I think if you wanted to just do something quick, you might just use one layer and that would be it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into Photoshop and I'll show you what I would do. So to get started on this is the image that I'm going to use. And if you're going to use an image, he used a matte painting, I believe. You want to use an image that has a high contrast so that you could do it pretty quickly. And what you want to do is you want to make the foreground black and the background white, and it's the background that will, so whatever's black you'll see and whatever's white will become transparent. So black is opaque and white is transparent. And I can't tell you how many times I got confused with that. So to start this, we're just in Photoshop and we're going to click on the quick selection tool here. And this is a great tool. It's pretty easy to use. You just go along and it pretty much automatically selects everything. You know, this might not be perfect, not trying to make it perfect. I just want to give you the general idea. So you've got to come into Photoshop and do a selection and separate out your foreground from your background. And you're going to need an image, like I said, that has a lot of high contrast. And so that's why I chose this image, because it has that. And so I'm just dragging along here. And there's a lot of tutorials just on how you can do this in Photoshop. It's a pretty basic technique that you need to know in Photoshop. And there I've selected everything. Now this one is the foreground is selected and I want to make it, oh, I see a little spot there. I think I got everything. Okay, in Photoshop you can actually come up here to this tool that's refined edges, and you can kind of see a little better how good of a job you did. Like here would be really difficult to do that, so I'm not going to worry about that, but there's a lot of techniques you can do to refine that edge and make your selection better and things like that, but I'm not going to do all that. So now that I've got my foreground selected, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to fill and I'm going to go to foreground color. Well, it's going to choose red, but let me just go to color then. I'll go to color and I'll just pick black. So I'll just drag this, which is all going to be zeros pretty much, and go okay. And there's my foreground. Now my background, what I'll do is I'll come here to select and I'll go to invert. So I've inverted selection, and then I'll come up in here to layer and go to new fill layer, solid color. And we'll go, okay, we're going to put in a fill color there, and that color is going to be white. So we're just coming here and make that white. And we go okay. And then we've essentially got our clip map for the image that we're going to use. So then I go to file, I'll go to save as, and I'm going to save this as it can be a JPEG, I guess. And we'll just go ahead and set this to, I'll just call it clip map. And so this is kind of old school, right? I mean, you're actually making your own You're actually making your own effects in LightWave. So, okay, so here we go. Now we can go over here let's go into LightWave. Now I've already shown how to do this, but I basically just created, this is all in one object, but this is a kind of my background, and this is the clip map. So what I'm going to do is, I showed how to make this previous tutorial on projection mapping. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go into my surface editor. This is the main wall back here. So what I'm going to do for the main wall is I'll go into the node editor and I'll go to 2D texture and I'll go to checkerboard to here and double click this. I like this to be white for some reason. With this, I think I can go for, let's see, I can go for cubic, I think, projection. I think that's it. And then let me see what that gets me. Let me go into VPR. Yeah, that's good enough. Now maybe those tiles are a little big. So let me see. I think I can make them smaller. Let's try 2. Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay, so I like this checkerboard texture just to have a background there. Okay, so now I'll go back into Open GL. This is going to be where I'm going to project my clip map onto. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. So I've got my camera. If I got my camera selected there, let me go into the surface editor here. And this is going to be projected, so you'll see how that works here in a minute. So we go into the surface editor. I'll go on my clip wall, that's what I call it. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into image and come here, click, and then I'm going to load in my picture that I have. So my picture is right here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go, we're turn off pixel blending. We're going to go to front. We're going to fix projection, and we're going to go to, it's the camera. It's the only camera in the scene. And so we got pixel blending. Just make sure not, oh, we want this on reset. And then that's it. So now we're going to just plug that in. Now this will project an image onto my plane here. Now, one thing I might have to double check. I think it was, looks like I'm seeing through that. So I think I might have to go in here to surface editor, and I might have double sided on that. Now, let me see if I go into VPR, what we see. Yeah, so now what we see is this is just surfaced onto the back plane, and this is my image, which is projection mapping onto the scene. Now I think I'm moving the render camera here. I want to be on the light for a second. I think that I need to shine some light on this. Does that make any difference? Well, I guess not. Yeah. So anyway, I cannot see anything on my image unless I'm in VPR. So that's interesting. Well, anyway, I'm going to go into the surface editor again, and I'm on the clip wall, and then I'm going to come in here to the clip map, and I'm going to click on that. And now I'm going to, it's an image map, and I'm going to go ahead and load in my clip map that I made right here and go OK. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set all the settings. The projection is going to be up front. It's going to be fixed projection. It's going to be from the camera, and we're going to turn off pixel blending. And this is all on reset as well. And that's that. And now if I go into VPR, there is our image. Now I probably need to resize it because it doesn't look like it's properly projecting on here. So let me back up here a little bit. But I gotta see my camera. Get on my camera here. So my camera is way too big. So let me first, I know that this has got to be 5184, and this is going to be 3888. And then I'm going to have to adjust the focal length on this, I know, to bring it way down. My camera is way back right now, so how far back do I got to go to get to it? Okay, there it is. So let me push it in here. That's really seems big for some reason. Zoom it down even more. And then just trying to get it onto this. I don't want to make it, let's see, 0, pitch it this way. I can't even see where it's hitting. So it looks really off here right now, hold on. So let's go into VPR again. Oh, so now you can kind of see, but I can't really see, let me back up. This is kind of strange that I have to do this. I can't really see. So I'm trying to fill, there we go. And then let me just pull back a little bit more, back more. Okay, it might be hard to see from this perspective, but you're actually seeing through to the checkerboard behind. So this is how you would create, you can kind of see it from this perspective. You see how the white is transparent and it shows through to the back. So that is how you would do a clip map. It's a little funky. I guess, I don't know if it's because I'm using a JPEG or what, but that's how you would clip through to the back. Now if I go into, let me create another camera here. Let me go into items, get a new camera here. I don't want to be on this camera. Hold on. Let me make another camera. But I have a feeling this camera is going to move the picture, but let's see what happens. Now I'm on the render 3 camera. And let me go into that camera and see what happens if I move around. So I'm not even sure where I am. Let me get out of VPR for a second here, just so I can kind of get my bearing. I'm really disoriented right at the moment. So let me just back up and then come up here. Okay, so I see my scene, so I'll just put myself there. And now let's just go see what happens if I go into VPR. Yeah, okay, so now I'm in my render camera, and let's see if the image moves if I move. No, it doesn't. So now see, I can actually fly through the scene with the clip map. Now, one thing I might do, I see I'm getting a lot of reflection there, so let me just zero that out. That's really distracting, actually, that reflection. Okay, so now you can see that it's very similar to the camera projection mapping, where you can see in through the scene, you know, if you wanted to do a fly through or something. So I'm going to go to pitch here. I see I'm getting some reflection there from this actually. So you could put more stuff back here to create a sense of 3D and then push through on the scene. So I'll try to render this out and see what it ends up looking like. I hope you found this helpful. This is just kind of a quick and dirty introduction into using the clip map in LightWave in a kind of a camera projected way. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. How's it going? And I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to the video just to clarify a couple points. So in this case, what I've done is I've added 2 projection cameras, so you can add additional projection cameras. So in this particular scene right now, if I go in the scene editor, I've actually got 3 cameras. So I've got camera 1, which is projecting onto this clip wall right here, and that has a clip map applied to it. Then I have camera 2, and that's actually projector camera, and it's projecting onto this back wall here. And then I've got a view camera, which is taking in the whole scene. The thing that's different between this and Ivan B's video is that it doesn't look like this is clipping, but if you go into VPR, it is. So you can see in this VPR, you can see where it's clearly clipping because of the clip map, but then this back wall, there's no clip map applied, so it's just the full image projected onto it. What I'm saying is you don't have to use one image and just one projection camera. You can have multiple projection cameras and have one image projected onto the back wall and then another projector camera projecting onto a different plane as well. So in this back wall, there is no clip map applied. It's just one camera projecting onto that back wall, and then there's a second camera. If I come back in here, I've got a second camera onto, well, I actually have camera 2 is projecting onto the back wall, and camera 1 is projecting onto this wall here. So you can have multiple cameras with multiple projections on different planes at the same time. Then you're going to need to have one camera that's your render view camera, and that's this camera. So if I come in here to camera view and go to view, this is the perspective that you would see from that camera. And you can actually move this camera back. But see, I'm not in VPR, so let me go into VPR. So actually without VPR, you can see the walls blocking it, right? But if I go into VPR, then you can actually see through to the whole scene. And then these would be 3D objects where you could move through. So I just wanted to clarify that point, that you can have multiple cameras projecting onto different planes. You don't have to just have one camera with one image projecting all the way through. So anyway, thanks a lot. Take care, and I'll talk to you later.